I left you were there before the sun, before the world could spin around. Silence
I can
from
see you,
Yeah, man. What's up, man?
man. Excited for what we gonna try to do, man. It's been a long time coming.
Oh yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
been it's been a long time coming, man.
I'm excited myself, man. I'm excited myself.
I don't know if it popped up what the little agenda thing was, but it really wasn't nothing. But the only thing I had on the agenda was for us to introduce ourselves. So we introduce ourselves to everybody, and then we just get to rocking and rolling, see where it goes.
Cool, 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 cool.
All right. So everybody, thank y'all for tuning into this. Whenever y'all tune into this, my name is Billy McClinton, also known as Lil Jr. Um, Pastor of Sparkles of Hope Christian Ministries. Just here. Want to have a good conversation with my cousin here. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
My name is Cedric Cotton Senior. I'm also known as Little Rick. Um, I am the youth pastor at Abundant Life, and I'm excited for this. We talked about this a while back. Now it's time to get it started, get it going. So
Yeah.
hope y'all enjoy the conversation and just our journey and just life as being look, we're not so little anymore, but
Not
being
so
grown men.
at all.
Look, say when you said Lil Jr, I went back to yeah, man. Then you put Pastor right behind it. I was like, that was a good save, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. It's been a long time coming. We've been talking about doing something for a few years.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed, man, that episode of On the Block that you did, and I learned some things, man, and definitely want to see more of that coming from you and everything. So tell me, man, what do you do with yourself now? How do you keep yourself busy? What are some of your goals and dreams and visions and different things like that? What are we doing?
man. Right now, I'm in the pest control business, so uh, killing bugs, killing rats, just trying to make the environment, a little safer for people's
Yeah,
homes and commercial businesses. And man, just raising my kids are grown now, so now I have grandkids. So I mean, just but I got three of them in college, and my oldest, his conversation is coming up. Block conversation is coming up. So
okay.
just pretty much, man, my goal now is just to do these conversations. But as I do these conversations, I want the whole premise is that we can talk to young people, and
Yeah.
young people can kind of explain what they're doing in life and
Hmm.
kind of help other young people know that you don't have to be in the streets, you don't have to be um, just doing crazy stuff to survive, because you have young people that's going to school, young people that's working, young you have young entrepreneurs, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
just trying to let people see another outlet instead of just always focusing on the bad stuff. We have good stuff, you know what I'm saying? So that's just something the Lord put on my heart just to push out there, and hopefully, people will look at it and see it, and it'll change lives. So that's pretty much, man.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's cool, man. I know. Uh, I my journey for entrepreneurship has been a very long journey, man. And it's full of twists and turns and everything like that. Just I think but just for the people that I do my own transportation thing right now. Uh, Contract for delivering auto parts and everything like that, man. I tell you one thing, man. It's been an eye opening experience because I don't even look at stuff the same as the way I used to look at it, in terms of how, all this material stuff and everything like that. I deal with a lot of high end car places.
Mhm.
I mean, you can name one, you can name any car, man, and it's amazing that all of those things will end up in the shop.
Right. Yeah. And look, the what I found, man, the more higher end, like if it's higher end, like the more like it's expensive, man. Like really, really expensive. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, it
Sometimes
is,
I think
man.
I'd rather feed a horse, man.
Yeah. They nice to look at, and they sound real good and everything like that, man. But all that stuff is real expensive,
Right,
you
right,
know.
right.
And then when when you compare that, man, to other things in life, man, you find out that that stuff really ain't got no lasting value, man. It's fun, it's entertaining, and but it has no real value to it. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
So, but it's been interesting, man. I mean, you kind of don't see stuff like that or don't understand stuff like that until you see it up close. You know what I'm saying?
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because there's always that other side to the story. You know, there's always that other side to the story, man. That you know you kind of just don't you're not aware of. You know, but I mean, it is what it is as far as all that stuff is concerned, man. So, how long you been in ministry?
Oh man. From I mean, preaching like almost 20 years, but when you talk about just the ministry of music, I've been doing it, man, over 30 years. Like I started playing the guitar when I was like 12, I believe.
Mm,
So I've been doing that for a long time. Matter of fact, Mama sent me a picture of our band. It was like we were celebrating like our fifth anniversary. I think it was 1996.
okay.
So she sent me the picture yesterday. So I sent it to the kids in the group chat. Sent it to my wife, and so yeah, man. So I've been doing that for yeah a long time. What they say, I've forgotten a lot of stuff on this thing, and more people don't. You know how they say it. Y'all done forgot a whole bunch on this guitar, bro.
Yeah.
But I'm still learning though, you know. But it's just it's yeah. I've been yeah. And then with the preaching thing, man, it's when I got started preaching, I never was expected. I didn't want to like that. That was never on my mind to do that.
I
Like
know, right?
that was never on my mind. So when that happened, that was a big change in my life, and just understanding, and then trying to educate myself on how to present the word, um, how to even study it. You know, just here's one thing I don't think people understand. Just because you're in church all your life doesn't mean you know God, doesn't mean you know Jesus, doesn't mean you know. You're just there pretty much because mom and dad is making you go. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
um so what I found was my outlet was playing the guitar. So when I started playing the guitar, I started enjoying church, but I still wasn't, you know what I'm saying? I'm just still going because I played the guitar. And
Yeah.
then time went on, you know, you know how you do. You get out in the streets and you just start running around, running crazy. And
Yeah.
then when I was, which I believe I was called the first time, probably about 15, 16 years before I accepted it.
Hmm.
And so I just kind of ran, you know, I was just like, that ain't nothing I want to do. And I was like, I like drinking and smoking too much, God. So I mean, I can't be the one you trying to, you know what I mean? Like you,
Yeah.
I think you're making a mistake. You know what I'm saying? So like, I think you making a mistake. But then, you know, when it comes down to it, he don't make mistakes. And so when
Yeah.
I accepted it, life kind of started changing. I started kind of getting more responsible, looking at life differently because he's using me in a different way. So yeah.
Yeah.
Now I wouldn't take it back. I wouldn't go back for nothing, man, you know. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I know, man. That calling thing, man, is that's something else. I you know, we both, you know, been grew up in church, man, you know, just was always there, man, you know, always around. I unfortunately don't play any instruments, anything like that, but I've done I've done almost every
Yeah.
job in the church, man. It's funny, man, because started out on a praise team and doing things like that. When I did end up going back, because I was out for a little bit, but I kept experiencing. My life was it was I was always too afraid, really, man, to go too far into the streets and stuff like that. Cause the time when I was growing up in high school and different things like that, man, every weekend of my junior and senior year, man, I would hear about another kid that got killed
Mm.
going to house parties and doing all this and the other. So I just continued to work because I'm like, if I'm at work, I can't get in trouble, and I can make it back to school and everything like that. But when I got out of school, still worked and tried to get off into that a little bit, but it just never fit right. It just didn't work right for me, you know. And but I tried to stay away from church too because I was like, well, I don't really want to go here and do this
Yeah.
and the other. And the streets wasn't working for me, and I was trying to stay away from church, man, but that really wasn't working for me because I didn't feel right. I just felt this, this man. Is the best way that I can best way I can put it. I just felt this and so, but I noticed every time I go back to church, I feel a lot better, you know,
Mm.
and I feel a lot better. And that would last for a week or two. So if I went to church this week and then was out of church for a couple weeks, I was cool. But then all of a sudden that feeling would come back again. And, one day I just realized, man, I'm like, this is crazy. Why am I trying to stay away from a place that makes me feel
That makes you
better?
feel good. Yeah. Yeah, that is crazy. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And but I never, but just because I was doing that, oh yeah, 'cause started out as a sound man, ended up doing praise and worship, ended up on the deacon board and chairman of the deacon board, and all that's this, that, and the other. Started preaching when I was a deacon, and a friend of mine, he asked me one Sunday, we was at church. He asked me one Sunday, he said, Billy, do you know anybody that has went from being a deacon to being a pastor? And I said, no, I'm cool. I'm up in the sound booth. I'm cool. I'm not trying to do that. And he looked at me kind of crazy. And we had this conversation, afterwards. He was like, man, I wasn't asking because of you. I was asking for myself.
Oh wow.
And lo and behold, a few months later, man, God called me the pastor, man. And I was just like dumbfounded, you know, never,
Remember
never,
that.
never once considered that was going to be in my cards. I didn't want to. I was
Hey,
enjoying being a sound man,
the crazy part about it, right? So when I don't know how old I was when you started preaching, right? But I remember like, mom, dad, like Junior is a preacher. I'm like, Junior who? Like, it's always that what? Because look, I'm gonna be honest, right? So this is for people this ain't bad or nothing, but I remember when we would come back to Kansas City and you had that Ice-T album cover with the lady from 5150 on there with Darlene on there, right? So I'm just now knowing that's Darlene like maybe a month or two ago, right? And
Yeah.
first when I saw the cover, every time I see that cover, I think about you. So you know what I'm saying? So that's why I was like, when they was like Junior preaching, I'm like, Junior who? So it's the journey is crazy, man. It's amazing though. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. 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 It
so
definitely is,
journey.
man.
Because I
That's
know
funny.
I know when that was unbelievable for a lot of people when I was, got on my preaching journey. So
Yeah. Yeah. I know one thing, man. If I could encourage any young man, any young woman, who's trying to develop their walk with Christ, man, to go full force in it. Don't worry about what the people around you think about it. Don't worry about their opinions, because it's always going to be some people trying to discourage you.
Yeah.
You know, but your life, and your life is going to have problems whether you saved or whether you're not saved. But
Yes, sir.
it's a lot easier and a lot better when you know who the source is, when you know who you can go to, when you know that God got you. It's a lot better, you know. So I definitely encourage any young person that might view this or hear about this or whatever. You know, if you starting to walk with Christ, continue to walk with Christ. You know, you're gonna live your life. You're gonna have ups and downs, and all of a sudden, yeah, this gonna happen. But it'd be a lot more easier, a lot better. I ain't gonna even say easier, but just a lot better.
It's gonna be a lot better, man. Your relationship will be a whole lot stronger. You
Yeah.
know, I tell the kids, you know, at when we be on the block, I tell them all the time. I'm like, don't wait till you know, 45, 35. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you have a relationship, build the relationship. You know what I'm saying? Because it's kind of like I said earlier, so you go to church all your life, but you really don't have a relationship with Jesus Christ. So it's kind of like I preached a sermon one time, and so if you know somebody, you've been around them, but you don't really know them, but you've
Hmm.
been around them, but you don't know them, but you just around them.
Right.
So once you get to know him, now you can really say, "Oh, I know that person. I have a conversation with that person, so I can really have a conversation with Jesus. I can read His Word and I can understand." You know, but as long as you playing with it, it's 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 not going. The fulfillment is won't be there. What I'm saying.
Right.
So
You're absolutely correct, man. I mean, you know, I think, and because it's all about the amount of time and energy and effort that you put in it. You
yes,
know,
yes,
I know, man. There are people who've been in church for years, but they don't put any work in outside of going to church. You
yep,
know, I mean, just simple things like reading one or two verses of scripture and praying, meditating
yep,
on it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and I know a lot of people like, man, I tried to read the Bible, I can't understand it, and all this, that, and the other. Look, man, anybody that has, when you first open the Bible and you sit down to try to read it, you can look at it from one or two different aspects. You can either look at it as this is a great story that's being told, you know, and it's fiction and it's not real, which a lot of people look at it like that. They
yeah,
think that's fiction,
yep,
it's not real. And then, you know, or the other aspect is you can look at it and say, you know what? No, I don't understand all of this. I believe it, I don't understand it, and I need some kind of guidance and help to interpret it. And that's where the work come in, man. That's where the
yep,
work come in. I mean, when I first started studying the Bible, man, I was in high school still, and I was reading a passage in Exodus, I believe, and it started talking about the Amalekites and the Amorites and all of them Ite boys, right? And
yeah, yeah,
so went to school the next day, and in a world history class, that's what the world history teacher was talking about, the Amalekites and all of them, right? So that gave me a sense that, okay, the Bible is real. I might not understand everything, but I do now know that this book is real because I got that confirmation for myself just coming from that world history class. It didn't
hmm
mean that the Bible opened up to me. What it meant was because I understood that it was real. When I sat down after that, when I sat down to read it, I didn't even try to read like I would read like one or two passages, right? And if I didn't understand it, that I wouldn't go any further. I would just sit with those one or two passages. It could have been one sentence. I would just sit with it and reread it and meditate on it and think about it until that thing began to open up and make sense to me.
hmm
But that's the process, man, that a lot of people don't want to go through. They want it instantly, and it don't work like that. You
Nah.
know, well, it didn't work like that for me. Maybe other people's comprehension was a lot better than mine is, or whatever. But it just sometimes I think that you got to put the work in when you want the relationship.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
I agree with that. Mine was sort of kind of like yours, growing up in the church, like referred, and then my dad being a pastor, and then you hear all the events and all the stories in the Bible, so everybody, when you sitting there, you ain't got no choice but to listen because
right?
he preaching, and Bible, I mean Sunday school, but then when and like you said in world history, and then you start seeing how secular history kind of you can see like, wait a minute, that was in the Babylon. Like, wait a minute. So really, the Assyrians and I. So now you can. Okay, so it's something to this book.
Right.
Now they're not teaching the Bible in high school, but you're like, wait a minute. I see we're talking about the same people. So I was like that with you, and that's why I love history so much right now
Mhm.
because you can kind of what's happening on in what's going on in secular history, then you can kind of compare the same thing that was happening in the Bible, and you like when you can put them together, you're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, it makes sense. Well, I'm like you. To me, it makes a whole lot more sense, and I can grasp it better.
Yeah. And then and not only that, when it makes sense to you, it becomes real to you.
Mm-hmm.
And you start to develop in a way to where you like, okay, well, I see these people did this and God's response was this. You know what I'm saying? So then even in your own life, man, you can begin to go, well, if I do this, is this what God's response is going to be?
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying? Because one thing I found out that I think most people really don't understand, because it wasn't ever really taught, and it wasn't really taught to me in a way that I understood it, was God never asked you to take God never asked you to take his word for it without his proof for it.
Mm.
He never asked that. Think about this, right? When he went, when he went, when he sent Moses to tell Pharaoh to let his people go so that his people would know who he was, did he just give him just only the auditory command? Is that all he gave him? He just told Moses, all right, just go tell him I said
Nah.
let my people go. No.
Mm-hmm.
He gave Moses demonstrational power.
Mm-hmm.
So that when people would ask Moses, well, how do we know that this God is real? And Moses would do the demonstrations that he did that they knew could no man do.
Right, right,
So it
right, right.
had to be. So it had to come from God. So see, I think I think a lot of times, man, that that might be the big picture, but it's never really expressed in a way that people can understand that God don't ask you to take his word for it. He gives you proof. He gives you evidence that he is who he say he is, and he can do what he
Mm-hmm.
says that he can do. And even if you never see the miraculous miracles that they saw back then, if you just stop and think about in the book of Genesis where he created everything at, all of that stuff is still self-sustaining because he spoke it to be self-sustaining to this day.
Mm-hmm.
That's still his evidence. You see what I'm saying? But those things I don't think are really expressed in a way to where people can now look at the Bible in a different light, and say, okay, well, yeah, I can compare that evidence to this evidence, and now I can see how the things that I think are coincidences or luck in my life or whatever, it's not. It is according to a system and a pattern,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I think that's where I know, at least for me, when I began to see that, it took on a whole new meaning for me, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a whole new meaning, a lot more, a lot. It was able to be personable. for me.
Mm.
You know, if that make any sense. You know, cause like before, man, it's kind of like, you know, they say the old saying is, you can never know God. Really? How am I supposed to have a relationship with somebody I don't know?
Somebody I don't know. Yeah, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Those two things
Yeah.
just don't even make sense. Why
But
would
then
I?
and then also he gave you his love letter too, right? So he gave you his love letter to get to know him. So yeah, that makes no sense.
Right. But I mean, but that's what we hear. That's what that's what we hear coming up, right? You can never really know God, and you just gotta trust Him. You just gotta have faith, and okay, well now the level of confusion that's going on there,
Mm-hmm.
because it sounds spiritual, right? But it brings confusion. It brings confusion because how can I have faith in something I don't know and don't understand,
Right.
right? But he's my heavenly Father, but I don't know him. Make that make sense?
Yeah. And you said something that sounds spiritual. Like I think how can I put this? There's nothing wrong with things being spiritual. I think how can I say this without saying something? This is the way I think. Like spiritual is great, right? But a lot of times God is being hands on with you. If
Hmm.
I can say it like that, I'm
Yeah,
like when I tell my kids to do something or when I talk to them, it's not this spiritual thing that I'm doing. It's hey, let me holler at you for a second. Let me talk to you. Like and I like he does that. Now spiritual things do they happen. You know
yeah,
what I mean? But I'm not always looking for something spiritual. I'm looking for more tangible, more. You know what I'm saying? And that happens as well. You know what I mean? Because when your spiritual senses are heightened, I think that's because you built a relationship, a stronger bond with them. If that makes sense, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
you're getting both of them, but you can kind of tell when one is spiritual and one is more like, hey, you need to do this. You
yeah,
know when the Holy Spirit is really talking to you or prompts you to do certain things
yeah,
because I mean, you grow up seeing things, and y'all, this is two church boys that grew up in the church. That's how we can talk like this. You grow up and you see things, and like that's spiritual. Like, nah, that just looks crazy to me.
hmm,
If I'm making sense, now I don't know if y'all,
yeah,
but I'm like, nah, that that don't look like nah. That
yeah.
don't,
You might there might be a spirit on you, but it might not be the Holy Spirit.
exactly. Now you see what I'm saying. I didn't say it. You said this. But yeah, I'm like, that don't nah, bro. Like, nah, that don't. You know what I'm saying? So I look at it like that. Now I might be wrong, but I mean, I feel like the more I the more I read, the more I study, the more I look into it. It's self control is one of the fruits of the spirit. So that's
Yeah,
something I believe we gotta have. So it's like that can go either way. That can be good or bad. So
yeah,
it's just I look at like I say, I'm big on context too, right? So I feel like when you look at the Bible, it's just like it's if you read, you don't grab a book and just take any book out of context. You know what I'm
right,
saying? 'Cause
right,
what's the meaning of it if you take it out of context? So it's just you can just pull anything out of it. Don't work like that. So I look at the Bible like you have to read it in context. You have to know, like history, what was going on at this time.
yeah,
Cultural relevance. The who were they talking to at this time? What was going on around them in surrounding areas and cities at that time? Why did they start serving Baal? Why did
right,
they start? You know what I'm saying? Like, so you just gotta really, to me, it's just read it in context, and that will help you out so much because a lot of stuff, and I'm gonna say this, a lot of stuff that we were taught growing up was out of context.
way out
So
of context. Yeah,
so now, as you start reading it, you're like, oh, wait a minute, okay, that was totally not it. I'm not mad. You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad. It's just
Yeah.
It just wasn't it.
No,
So
it
now,
wasn't it.
yeah. Now when you read it in context, and a lot of times, me and mom talk. Me and her can talk about certain things. She's like, baby, I ain't never even seen it like that. I ain't never noticed. But it's like, yeah, when you read it and you kind of, like I said, in context, because I heard this guy say, and I cannot take the credit for this. He said, how did he put it? Context destroys false doctrine.
Mm, mm, yeah.
And we have a lot of people that take the Bible out of context and they have this false doctrine and people are following it, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
because it sounds good. They done took it out and threw scriptures at you that made you feel good. And these
Mm-hmm.
scriptures are all out of context and you don't even, you know what I mean? So
Yep. Yep. No, I
that's
know
why I
that.
don't really just throw scriptures out like that, because there's a context to them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree 100%, man. You know, like I said, when I was reading the Bible and studying it for myself, I was able to learn and see some things that, yeah, when we grew up, man, we heard some wild stuff coming from the pulpit, man, and it's like,
Mhm.
ooh, yeah, no, that was way wrong. And I think they probably meant well.
Well, yeah.
I think they meant well, man, but they just didn't. They just really hadn't put the time in to study, you know. And that studying makes a difference, man, when you get ready to teach, you know. And I've always found it fascinating, man, just to read the Bible and to begin to understand what's kind of going on in the story, you know.
Mm,
And you can't oftentimes, like, you can't look in the New Testament, right, and read those stories and have a full understanding of what's really going on because you haven't went to the Old Testament to see how all of that came to
man,
be. It's kind of
look,
like watching a sequel movie, right? It's the third episode of this movie, and you jumping in.
yep,
You ain't got a clue what's going
yep,
on.
yep.
You know,
It. I was telling. It could have been you. I don't know. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I'm like, you do know that all the scripture that Jesus quoted, Paul quoted, all of it was the Old Testament.
Old Testament, yeah,
That's what they were quoting. So for you, like, and look, you can start reading the Bible just as long as you read the Bible. I don't care where you start reading it at. But when you can read the Old Testament and kind of start understanding, and when um, Jesus throw a line out that's Old Testament, they knew what he was talking about
right,
because they studied. That's all they had. It wasn't no New Testament. That's all they
right,
had was the Hebrew
right,
scripture. That's
right,
it. So they
right,
knew exactly what he was talking about.
yeah,
So for us to try to say, "Oh, I know what he's talking about," but you don't know your Old Testament, it's kind of you gotta learn that to kind of understand what the revelation, what was happening in the New Testament. So
yeah,
I'm learning that.
yeah,
I'm learning that right now. I'm learning that. So
yeah. See, we going through right now, man. We going through Psalms 119, right? And um, it is, this the longest book in the Bible,
mm,
and but it is the Hebrew alphabet, bro.
mm,
This book is so deep, man, and I feel so inadequate. I ain't gonna even front, man. I mean, because I've been, working on learning Hebrew, man, for probably like the last 10 years, right? And so
mm,
I know a few little words here and there and whatnot or whatever, and some understanding here and there, man. But I did not, I knew a little bit about the letters,
mm,
bro. When I tell you, just the Hebrew letters in and of themselves, when you begin to understand that, it opens everything else up. I mean, bro, it just becomes phenomenally fascinating how everything else opens up too, you know.
got you.
And I've been,
I'm trying to put some,
and the cool thing about it is, even without knowing Hebrew, or anything like that. Just from me being in God's word and studying His word and reading His word, the
Hold on,
revelation
man.
that,
Are you? Hold on one second. Are you live right now?
yeah,
I'm trying to.
it's not on the church channel. It's on my regular YouTube channel, which is Billy McClinton.
Oh, okay, okay.
I was gonna go search it, but I mean, I don't know. It disappeared off my screen when I was getting
Oh,
ready
okay. I was gonna
to
tell you to
do
send me the
something.
link. Send me the link, but that's fine.
Oh, okay. I can probably find it. But yeah, man. When I was uh, just from just from spending time with God, in God's word and meditating on His word, it is amazing how much, without even knowing the Hebrew alphabet, man, and knowing and understanding the different levels of that, it's amazing that just in spending time with God, how much I had already learned.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
How much foundation pretty much was already in me, and I didn't even know it. You know, and so but to have that, I wish I would have known as much as I know about the Hebrew alphabet when I started. eh, You know, because then I think I'd have even a greater appreciation and a greater understanding of His word. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? But yeah, man, that is something else. Hold on, let me see if I can find this link real quick.
But that's kind of like you're talking about the Hebrew, like even when I'm trying to study or get my sermons together, I'm I'm word, like I'm a big word person. So even
Hmm.
in the New Testament with the Greek, like it's you really have to like it's just you it's really it's like you said earlier, the work comes in your study. Like that's
Hmm.
really the work, man, because you talking about the Hebrew words or the Greek words, because what is that for the word? And I'm talking about in Greek for love. What is it like
Five different ones, yeah.
five different words or something for
Hmm.
love? So when you're trying to write out a sermon or whatever, and you see that word love, you got to know which one it's talking about.
Right,
Because you can say something, but if that wasn't what they were talking about at that time, you're just thinking it's love because we only have one word for love
right.
in the English dictionary. So it's fun though.
Oh
It's
man,
enjoyable once you crack it and you're like, oh, okay, okay, okay. But yeah, I think that's a lot. When I talk about older generation and how we were taught, I think a lot of it had to do with that because they were looking at it like the same way we were before we cracked the code. It was just, you love, okay, you know what I'm saying. When you look at judges, and here's another thing: when you look at certain judges in the Old Testament, that's the same word as Elohim, the same
right,
word for God. You know what I mean?
right,
Everybody don't know that, but
right,
you got to look at the context to know how to place that word. Is it talking about humans? Is it talking about angelic beings? Is it talking about God? You see what
yeah,
I'm saying? So,
yeah.
but that's the fun part of it.
It is,
That's the
man.
study, though.
It is, man. I don't think, and that's why when you get into it like that, it's like there is no way you could think the Bible was boring.
Right, 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 right. And look, hold on. I think that's the problem, though. Like people, they just read it and they're looking at it in a Western mindset, right?
Right,
So they're not trying to. You got to go back in time. It's like a Back to the Future moment. Like you got to go back in time. You got to really do a whole bunch of stuff to uncover this book. You know what I mean? So it's when you read it like a Western mindset, it's man, I'm done because once you get to the names, so and so begot so and so, so and so begot so and so, so and so begot so and so. You
yeah,
you you're you're closing the book like man, I'm done, man, I'm done. And then
yeah,
look, that's a chapter long.
yeah,
That's of so and so begot so and so.
yeah, yeah. It is, man. It is.
I already know. I've been look. I've been there. I've been there. Look, you remember I told you like Genesis is my favorite book, right?
Mine too.
The
Mine
reason
too.
is I'm gonna tell you the reason it's my favorite book because I once them so and so started, I kept having to start over. So I because I didn't want. I'm like, well, I just start over, man. So I would start over from in the beginning. I'm starting over from the beginning again, and I'm going. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like,
Yeah.
man. So I so that's why I like Genesis so well because it I got hung right there. So yeah, I'm serious, man.
Yeah.
My daughter like that too. She's like, Daddy, when the baguette, she's like, all those baguettes and the she she got it honest. So I don't blame her.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that wasn't what got me, man. But Genesis is my favorite book, man. But but yeah, when you go into Matthew, I think it's Matthew, man, and he starts with all of that, man. Then it's like, well, wait a minute, who is that? I
Yeah,
gotta go.
yeah,
I got to go find who that is.
yep, yep,
I got
yep.
to go. So you got to start at the beginning because you won't know where else to
Exactly.
begin.
That you keep going, but you know what? That's what I told her, and I tell everybody. I said, y'all think I'm crazy, but when you start in this book and you start keep going back, those names are very important because they're gonna come up
They
again.
are going to come up again. Yeah,
And so and so when you kind of write them down and kind of get them in your head, and then when they come back again, you're like, oh, okay.
yeah,
You still don't have to go back to Genesis to find it, you know what I'm saying? But you can be like, oh, okay, 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 okay. They're
yeah.
very important. Like yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they definitely are, man. I mean, I think my fascination with Genesis, man, has always been understanding God's original design
Yeah.
and understanding what
Yeah.
His original plan was for us, man. That's the thing that gets me. It's like, okay, we know Adam and Eve did what they did, and we know ever since then we're born in sin, shaped in iniquity. But what if it had not happened? What would it
Mm,
look like? See that, and that's what I get caught up on, man. Is if it had not happened, what would this world look like now?
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
I
And
thought
and
like
and and then it's like, okay, but now you gotta go back and you gotta see, and imagine in your mind if it had not happened, if this particular incident did not happen, or they made a different choice, or they made a different decision, how would that have affected things moving forward,
mm-hmm.
right? And so that I have always been fascinated with God's original plan, His original purpose, His original intention for mankind.
Mm-hmm.
In what would have been our perfect sense. You know what I'm saying? And that's when I began to understand the importance of choice, man.
Mm.
I you know I said I preach this all the time. The greatest gift that God gave man was the ability to choose. That's the greatest gift that He gave man. Now, man takes that for granted and make choices that are uneducated,
Mm.
you know? Because see, what did He tell him? He says, of all the trees of the garden thou may freely eat, but of the tree which is in the midst of the garden thou shalt not eat it, for in the day that thou eat it, thou shalt surely die. Right? Choice. That
Very
was
uneducated
choice.
choice.
Yeah, it really wasn't an uneducated choice. It was a misunderstood choice.
But they could have ate from the tree of life though.
They could have eaten from the tree of life. That was there too. They could
But they
have. But that
but
that
they
was
but he didn't say you couldn't eat from that one though.
right. Right. He didn't. And it fascinates me because he gave them all the information that they needed, right? And I will say this. I'll say it like this. They probably had all the information that they needed in order to make a right decision, but they might not have had all the understanding that they needed to make a right decision. And here's why I say that. Because when the serpent beguiled Eve, he said, he comes and he asks her a question. And I'm going to paraphrase this. Did God say that you cannot eat of every tree of the garden? Right? And she says, of every tree of the garden we may eat, but of the tree which is in the midst of the garden we shall not eat of it, for in the day that we eat it, we shall die. The serpent then says, you shall not surely die, for God does know that the day that you eat, you shall be like God, knowing both good and evil. Right? That's what the serpent said. Right? So the serpent introduced to Eve what she perceived to be another level of understanding.
Right.
But he didn't focus. God. Yeah, to be like God. He minimized the death part, right? And maximized the be like God part, right? Because she would gain knowledge that she didn't think she already had, right?
And that word desired means to lust. So she lusted for as well. So
yeah, because it says when she saw that the tree was good for food, so in other words, you can eat it. She saw that it was good for food and to make one wise. See, if it had been like this, if she would have saw that the tree was good for food and to make one eyes, she went to her husband and said, now this ain't what she said, but if she would have did this, I think the whole story would have been different. Hey Adam, this tree is good for food and it's good to make one wise. You think when God comes back tonight that we can have a conversation with him to see, what's the deal with this tree? That was a choice, bro.
Oh no, I'm saying.
You see what I'm saying?
It's a choice, but that wasn't about to go down.
Well, it definitely didn't.
That wasn't about you. Look, come on, bro. Man, come on, man. No.
I mean, but that was an option, right?
But now here's the thing I think about when you think about Genesis. How when you think about the serpent, how was it that we know it wasn't a snake, right? It says a serpent, but how comfortable she was talking to this being.
She should have been. There was yeah, but she should have been. There was nothing in the garden that would have made her uncomfortable to have this to have this conversation. Nothing.
I know I've said this a lot, you know what I'm saying, but that's just talking to. I've said a lot, well, you shouldn't be talking to snakes. But then when you really look at that, she was comfortable. And then also when you read the Bible, it says she gave it to her husband to eat and he was with her. So they all, you know what I'm saying, like, hey. So they were comfortable talking to this being.
Yeah.
The shining one, if you want to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So So I mean, when you look at that whole first, second, third chapter is just it's so much in there. Like, so
it's a lot in there, man. But
like they were just
but if that had been a different choice, and I think that's what we miss it a lot, because see, like so God will give us all the information, right? He'll give us the information. We might not have to understand it, but we got the information, right? It becomes our opportunity to get the understanding. You see what I'm saying? It becomes our opportunity to get the understanding and say, okay, I got all this information, but I don't understand it. I need some help in deciphering this and understanding this so that I can actually make a proper choice and a proper decision. That's why I say the greatest gift that God gave man was the ability to choose. And God never gave them that gift without giving them all the information. They had it all, you know. And the same thing holds true today. God gives us all the information that we need to make the choices in our lives, right? We might not have the understanding, but we have all of the information, and it becomes
Mm-hmm.
important for us to put the work in and go get the understanding so that when it's time for us to make that decision, we actually make the proper one. But
Mm-hmm.
we live our life through trial and error, you know. That's the way we
So
live.
true.
We live through trial and error. I mean, I'm the first one to throw up both of my hands and say that,
Oh yeah.
I'm just now getting to the place in the age to where I understand that, wait a minute, I cannot make decisions like that.
Right.
First
Right.
of
Right.
all, I need to consult God. I have to consult God before I make that decision, because there's a level of understanding that I need in order to know that I'm making the proper decision. And it
Mm-hmm.
ain't easy, bro. It ain't easy. I don't want anybody to think by any means that it's easy to do that. It's not, because that is not the way we're taught and not the way we're trained.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're often taught, especially as men, you make a decision, you stick to that decision, and then you move on. If you
Mm-hmm.
made a mistake in the decision, you'll learn, but you learn from your mistake, but then you keep moving, but then you move on. The
Mm-hmm.
question is, if you get all the understanding of the information that you have when you make the choice, are you making a mistake?
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? There are a lot of mistakes we didn't have to make if
Oh
we
yeah.
had the
I
level of
agree.
understanding that we really needed.
I
You
agree.
know, and I just think that's the reason why. Furthermore, lets me know that that's the reason why the Bible needs to be a central part of our lives, because when we come up against them places where we really do need to make a choice in the decision, we can go back and find it in the Word of
Yeah.
God what it is, how we are supposed to move and different things like that, man.
Yeah.
Because if we move according to the way the scriptures tell us to move, we won't make as many mistakes. Therefore, we won't hurt ourselves as much as we possibly could hurt ourselves, and we'll live a better life having positive experiences versus all the negative experiences. Man, I can't
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you I can't tell you how I wish a lot of the dumb stuff that I did when I was
Oh
younger,
yeah.
I had a level of understanding and would have made a different choice.
I mean, but that comes with maturity too. So I mean, yeah. I've made so many stupid decisions, and just boneheaded decisions. And when you look back at it, you're like, what was I thinking, man? Like, what was I? And here's the thing, though. A lot of times we knew better. Like, I think that was, you just didn't understand who was talking to you at you talked to the snake. You know what I'm saying? Like, you went that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of knowing, because okay, so we got good parents, so we knew better. You know what I
We had
mean?
all the information. We had all the information.
Yep.
We had all the information, you know, but I don't think we still had that level of understanding to trust the
Right.
information that
Right.
we had.
I agree with that. And I think for me, I was rebellious. I was kind of rebellious. You know what I'm saying? And I guess everybody has a little rebellious spirit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I was the one that was always, okay, so why shouldn't I do this? You know what I mean? So why, and then with us growing up, it wasn't no conversation. It was because I told you to, or
Right.
because I told you so. You see what I'm saying? So they wasn't gonna sit down and have a conversation about not doing this and not doing that. It was like, don't do this. And then when you ask the question, because I told you so. You know what I'm saying? I told you not to do that. That was it.
Yeah.
So we the one changed for me. So now, when my kids got older, I kind of had that conversation to let them know, but it wasn't that. So by my parents doing me like that, it was more of I was just rebellious. Like, well, let me see why I shouldn't do what you told me
Yeah.
not to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not, and a lot of time, but I was smart with it though, because I wouldn't get too far. It's like the edge, I wouldn't get too far out there, because I knew. Listen. I knew they told me not to do it for a reason. I
Yeah,
just wanted to find out why, but I really didn't want to find out why. You know what I mean? Like I was scared to find out why, because one, I didn't want to get beat to death, and another one, I didn't want to get hurt. So I didn't, you know what I'm saying? So it was
yeah,
more of that. I was just like, let me just kind of test the waters, put my pinky toe and my big toe in the water just to see. So that's where I kind of did that. So when I talk about when I like being kind of in the streets or whatever, it wasn't that I was trying to get too far out there
yeah,
because I knew I wasn't supposed to, but I still dibbled and you know what I mean? Because
yeah,
I could, thank God, I could, like, when trouble would arise, as the old folks would say, when trouble arise, I knew how to be like, man, it's time for us to go. You know what I'm saying? Or like, we need to get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like that with me. Now it's some people, they just got to get out there and just once you out there,
get out there
you
and they
don't got
go
no
too
life
far.
jacket. You ain't got
Yeah,
nobody can pull you back in. So yeah,
yeah, yeah,
and no, I think that's kind of with that whole Eve thing is the conversation, man, and nobody was there. Well, somebody was there, but
yeah.
he, he we, we see he wasn't any help. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
I ain't saying no names. When you go pick up the Bible and read it for yourself, but you know. But I will say this though. I got a book downstairs. I think it's called Battlefield of the Minds, man. And one thing it did say is when what it said about Adam was he took the fruit and ate it pretty much because he was a symbol of Christ. So he took the fruit and ate it because his wife was because if as soon as you eat it, you will surely die.
Yeah,
So he took the fruit and ate it to die with her. You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
Because he loved her to the point of death.
yeah,
So he decided to do it so he would die with her. You know what I'm saying? Be separated, which they
yeah.
didn't know they were separated. So I take that like as a symbol of Christ, you know what I'm saying? Because we got one Adam and then we got the second Adam. The
Right,
second Adam died for his bride as well. You know what I
right,
mean?
right, right.
Like the first Adam died for his bride. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I kind of, yeah, he did, but
yeah.
yeah.
I know, man. I know.
It's all in how you want to look at it. You know what I'm saying? It's all in
Yeah.
it's perspective, right? So
It
it's but I just feel like the word of God is so important to our lives, and so it's what we need to understand God, man, to understand His Son, to understand the Holy Spirit, to see that everybody that's in there made a lot of they was like us. They were like us.
Yeah.
They made a lot of mistakes.
Made a lot of mistakes. Yeah. Yeah.
But God was so gracious, and they but they never, even though they made mistakes, they a lot of them didn't leave or turn their back on God. You see what I'm saying? Like you had a lot of them, but they didn't. They stayed right there because God brought them through the mistakes with. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you messed up, but come on, and then they kept trusting in Him.
Yeah. And I think that's another thing, man. You just threw out a real big word, man. That word trust. You
Mm,
know, that's a huge word, man. And I don't think that people truly understand how to trust God. You know,
good.
because I don't think
Yeah.
there's not very many people, probably in this world that people trust. You know what I'm saying? Where they know that if they depend on them, that they're going to come through. And a lot of times that, people don't think, that God is going to come through, so they don't really know how to trust him. I mean, I know for a long time, I didn't understand what it meant, to trust God, you know, I didn't understand what it meant. I didn't understand how to do that because of all the different experiences that I had in my life, man, of being let down, you know,
Mm,
because in order for you to really trust God, bro, you have got to allow yourself to be vulnerable.
yeah. That's true.
You've got to allow yourself to be vulnerable, and I don't think many people know how to allow themselves to be vulnerable with God. And trust that. I mean, because here's the thing that happens when you're vulnerable. When you are vulnerable, you open yourself up to pain, to the
Yeah.
potential, to the possibilities of potential pain. That's what you open yourself up to being let down, to all of that, just so that you can say that no, I do trust you. You go through a bad breakup, a bad relationship, man. It's hard for you to trust, like a man that goes through a bad breakup and a bad relationship with a woman. It's hard for him to trust any other woman after that, especially when he has really laid himself out there, really laid himself bare, really allowed himself to be totally vulnerable. Can't it's hard to do if it will ever get done,
Yeah.
to that
Yeah.
same degree. You know what I'm saying? But we look at God the same way, and we're like, but God, you let me down over here, or something happened, and I thought God was in control of that, and why did this happen? I can't understand why this happened, and it's like, so therefore it's like I'm not gonna continue to be vulnerable with you because this incident happened in my life that I don't understand, that I blame you for, and therefore I can't trust you. You see what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And not understanding that whatever happened in that situation, and however it happened, it did happen for a reason, and God was still there in it. And that is probably the time when you need to be the most vulnerable to him, so that he can take those broken pieces and put them back together and make you a whole person again, and give you more strength, for future bad times.
Yeah.
You know, but a lot of people don't want to open themselves up to that. You know, at least that's what I think. It became a learned process for me. You know, I had to
And when you
learn.
trust, man.
Yeah, that's bro. That's a huge word. That is a huge word in life. It's a huge word in relationships, and it's definitely a huge word when it comes down to your relationship with Christ. You know.
Man, because I think I can't remember, but it's like when you talk to people that say, if you talk to somebody who's not a believer, you really have to put yourself in their shoes, because they're like, how do you believe in something you can't see, right? How do you believe in something that you have this book, and I'll just put my faith in something that a God I can't, what I'm saying, I can't see it or whatever. So you really have to trust that he will give you the words to say to somebody who's looking at it like that, because they don't know. They haven't been around it like me and you have. They haven't grew
Right.
up around it. So you want me to believe in something that I don't even see, that it this mythical book, you know what I'm saying? So they come up with all these crazy things. And so for us to say I trust him, right?
Yeah.
I bank on it. You know what I'm saying? He's done so many things in my life. I trust um I've been places where I like, don't want to, where I shouldn't have made it out of. I've seen things. I've seen car wrecks that happened where I could have been in it, but I wasn't. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So, and then you trust God, and you trust, you have faith in Him. And me and my wife was talking the other day, and I told her like this. She said, well, how would you explain something? We're talking about. I think the atheist came up or something like that. And I said, well, a lot of people that don't believe in God, they believe in something. You know, a lot of people believe in themselves.
Yeah.
I
They
said,
do.
and for me, that lets me know, if you believe in yourself, that lets me know that God created you, because God created you to believe in something.
Right.
You were created to believe in something. There's
Yeah.
nobody walking around here that don't believe in nothing.
Right. Right.
And if you believe in nothing, well, then you believe in nothing. You see
Yeah,
what I'm
you
saying?
still
So
believe in
you can't.
something.
You're gonna believe in something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Yeah.
only a God could create that in us to believe in something.
Right.
Now it's up to us to believe in the right thing because like I said, people believe in you believe in something. There, you know what I'm saying? If you're an atheist, you don't, well, I don't believe in God. Okay, well, you believe in something.
Right.
And
Right.
I'm not, this is nothing against atheists. I'm just saying, or you got people believe in Allah, people believe in it, but you believe in something.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of Christians, man, are afraid to have a conversation with people because they feel like they have to convert them. You know,
Yeah.
I had an experience a long time ago, man, with a partner of mine. We were at a library doing Bible study, and this gentleman, uh, he was ear hustling in on the conversation, and uh, he knew some scripture, he knew some word, and he asked a few very intelligent questions. But the questions that he asked kind of led me to ask him the question. So, are you saved? Do you believe in Christ? Are you giving your life to Jesus? And he was like, "Nah, man, nah." And I was like, "Really? Why?" And he was just like, "Well, I can't make that leap." I said, "Oh, okay." And was polite, man, and everything. When the conversation ended, we just kind of went our way. And my friend that was
Mhm.
with me, he was like, "Bro, why didn't you try to save his soul? Why didn't you?" I said, "Bro, you got to understand something. Everybody not gonna be saved.
Man, I got
Everybody
a partner.
not gonna
I
be
say
saved."
that to all the time. Yep, yep.
I
I got
mean,
a friend I say that to all the time.
yeah, I mean, this. I'm like the way I'm looking at it. This man know probably the scriptures better than I do. And I asked him, and he said he can't make that leap. I ain't gonna
Everybody
push
not
it.
gonna make it. Everybody not gonna make it.
Nah, everybody not gonna make it, and we have to get away. We have to get away from this mentality that we think that it is our job to save people. It is not.
No, it's
It's
not.
our job to present the gospel. If we can present the gospel, I was talking to my wife about this the other day. I said one of the coldest lines in the Bible to me. I said, "This is a cold piece. This is a cold line, bro." Is when Jesus told them, "If they don't receive you, shake the
Yep.
dust off your feet." I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, that's cold."
Mm-hmm.
But
That's
that's
man.
Jesus. Oh, that's cold, bro. But that
That's a
lets you know everybody not gonna be saved, and if God is all right with it, which you know what I'm saying, to the point to where He's like, I accept the fact that people are not going to accept me.
mm-hmm.
So if God is all right with it, why I got a problem with it? I ain't
Mm-hmm.
got no heaven or hell to put nobody in, no way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Who? I'm just saying. I
No,
don't know.
man. Bro, it's like this context again, right? This new Jesus that they have, I don't fool with him like that. This new one that they I'm I'm with the one that's more like you brood of vipers, you know what I'm saying? Like that one, the one that I know is like say you know,
Yeah.
the real one the one that I see in my word, I like yeah, he loves us, but he didn't play right. Like you know what I'm saying? Like we got this I think we made up this image that he's just loving. He is. I mean, he love, but
He
when you
is.
read what he does and what he says in certain passages, he's not playing. Like he's not playing.
Right. And I think that's the part. And this is another thing that me and my wife was talking about. Actually, this is one of the songs I wrote. Man, it says God is misunderstood. You know,
Ooh, like
God is
that.
misunderstood, man. I mean, it's a cold song, man. But
I'm gonna have to preach that, Doc.
yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna have to write.
Go listen to the song, man. It's already laid out for you, bro.
Bro,
Take that money. Tear the church up with it, man.
Hey man, cause hey man, I say
Because no, he is, man, because the only thing that the primary thing that is preached about God is his love, his grace, and his mercy.
yep, not his
That
vengeance.
not his vengeance,
We don't want
not
to talk
his
about that.
justice.
And his hate for sin, we don't want to talk
Woo.
about that. We don't want to talk about that.
Nah,
We don't
we ain't
want to
talking
talk
about
about
that.
that at all. Right
Nah,
now.
nah, man. I'm telling you, man. And I think if that was to be preached the way that it should be preached, or taught the way that it should be taught, then people would get that other side of the understanding, because they got all the information, but they would get that other side of the understanding that they need, man, in order to really begin to make them proper choices and decisions that we was talking about earlier, man.
Nah, you good. I'm trying to find because I want to read it first. I want to make sure I'm in the right spot. I think it's Matthew 25. It
Mm.
might be. Make sure. When he talks about if you did it to the least of these, that might not be Matthew 25. What is that?
Give me 1 second. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
Matthew
yeah,
25 and
yeah,
40.
yeah. So I don't think people even understand that. That he's talking to two different people. Like he's
Right,
talking. That's a separation there. You know, when I first, this is what I'm saying about reading it in that's two different people. Like the first people didn't feed them, didn't do this, didn't do that. The second group of people fed them. You know what I'm saying? So you have to recognize who he's talking to when you're reading that
right.
passage, because everybody like, well, you see, you're supposed to do them like this. Yeah, but he's talking to believers, treating believers. This has nothing. This is believers the way believers are supposed to treat other believers.
Yeah,
You see
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah,
Then the righteous say to him, Lord, when did we see you hungry and give you something to eat, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you as a stranger and welcome you, or see you naked and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and visit you? The king will answer them, I tell all of you with certainty, since you did it for one of the least important of these brothers of mine, you did it for me. He's talking to believers, though.
yeah,
At that one, the first part of it, he's
yeah,
talking to unbelievers.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's like people don't understand. He has his side and he has another side. So when
yeah,
Christians, believers are supposed to treat believers a certain way. Now we're not supposed to be treat unbelievers unkind or nothing like that. I'm not saying that.
right.
But when you read this passage, that's why the sheep and the goats, he separates them, because the
Yeah,
goats were treated them this kind of way, and
yeah,
then the sheep treated him this way. But that he's talking to his brothers. You see, I
yeah.
don't think people get that. When they read that, they run it all together and like, oh, you supposed to treat. No,
Nah.
go read it again. Go read it again, and take your time and read it.
Bro, I mean, was that other? Hold on. All right, we doing that. We doing this. Let's do this. Cause let me do this like this. Um, 1 second. Clear this
Okay,
out.
there we go.
Go over to Matthew 15 and 27. Right. So just go back a few to illustrate what you're saying.
You say 15 and 27.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it starts at 24. It starts at 24. The Canaanite woman,
Oh yeah, yeah.
right? So if you look at even if you look at Jesus's attitude toward this woman, right? When it starts off, it said, then Jesus went thence and departed to the coast of Tyre and Sidon, and a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast and cried unto him, saying, Have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with the devil. Now, this is a woman who she crying out.
Mm-hmm.
She crying out. And it goes on and say, but he answered her not a word. And his disciples came and brought him and saw him, saying, Send her away, for she cried after us. That part always cracks me up. Anyway, but he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So he had already made a distinction right there. To make it to illustrate the point that you're talking about. He's like, I'm only sent to the lost sheep of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
That's the primary, that's my primary goal, that's my primary target.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the people that I have come to save and to be good for, to be good with, and all of this and the other. Very important distinction.
Mm-hmm.
Bro. That's why it goes back to everybody's not going to be saved.
And the thing about that, when he says the lost sheep of Israel, I don't think people like you're thinking he was supposed to come and save like the Pharisees or people that like you said, it's a distinction. The lost. That means they needed to be found. Like they already belonged to him.
Yep.
He didn't say they didn't belong to me. He
Right.
said like they were lost. Like guess who else was lost? His disciples.
Yeah.
The lost, the ones that knew who he was.
Yeah.
But they were waiting for him and looking for him and was ready for him.
Yeah.
And then when he came, they was like, oh, that's him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Those are the ones that's lost. So it's not like I think people think, oh, they just doing bad. No. When you recognize, he said, because what he say, my sheep do what?
They gonna hear my voice.
They gonna hear my voice.
Yeah.
So when he say the lost sheep, even if it's a shepherd, right, and his sheep get lost, and if he scream, they will hear they're gonna hear his voice. They're gonna recognize his voice.
Yeah.
So when it says lost, it's not. You got to understand that word. It doesn't mean like the sheep are goats.
Right.
They're his. They're just
right.
lost.
They're his. They just lost. They're not goats. They sheep.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's all it is. They're just lost sheep, not something major. Because I hear people say, "Well, he was only for the lost sheep of Israel." I'm like, yeah, but you don't even understand that word "lost." You're thinking it's a certain kind of people. It's the lost people.
Yeah.
Of Israel. He came for. The Bible even says he came to Israel first. That's why. Why did he tell them when he ascended? He told them go to where I think it was Samaria first. No, Jerusalem and Samaria, then to the rest of the nations. I think that's the order. But he was gathering people. He was gathering lost sheep. He was gathering. Now he's talking to make all men.
Yeah.
Disciples. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because he came for the lost sheep. That's what he came for first. Then he sent his disciples to make disciples of all nations.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it was an order. God, he had an order to how he wanted this thing done because he gave it to Israel first and they blew it.
Yep. So
he's like, I gotta get you, I gotta get them back because I gave it. He's a God of his word.
Yep. He's a God of order. He's a God of his word, man.
Yeah.
Which means it would be unjust and unrighteous for him to go to another group of people before he went to the ones that he made the covenant with.
Wait a minute. Now we in Exodus right now, right? No, we're in Numbers, I think. Especially after Moses did all that pleading for him and begging for him. He done begged for him, pleaded for him, Lord, don't kill him. Don't do like he done bet and he like, all right, Moses, but I can,
Yeah. I can't wipe him out and start all over again.
But since you done beg for And even what did Moses say in Deuteronomy though? He even told him, he said, it's gonna come a time where y'all still gonna turn away. After I'm dead and gone, y'all gonna turn away. You see what I'm saying? So Moses even knew it. Yeah.
Man, it's bro.
One
yeah.
more thing before we get out of here. And then verse 28, we talking about that loss. This is what he says. He said, then Jesus answered her, Lady, your faith is great. What you want is granted.
Mm-hmm.
This takes us back to Abraham. Because people don't even understand this. Like, y'all don't, like, not you, but
Yeah.
y'all do know Abraham, if you're listening out there, world, was not an Israelite. That's why it's about faith. Y'all do know that, right? Israel didn't come along till his grandson.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just to let y'all know if y'all don't know. So that's how we know it's about faith. And then he's telling this lady, your faith is great, because we know what is it? Abraham's faith. It was accounted to him by his faith.
Mm-hmm.
And he had here go another top secret for y'all. He had faith before he was circumcised.
Yep.
So it had nothing to do with the circumcision.
Nope.
I'm preaching now, but I know you know. But it was faith before circumcision. Remember that. If you listen, don't get me started. You know I got to get up in the morning, but you get.
I know, man. That's why. That's why. That's why I was like, I didn't really want to, because man, I didn't really want to go like that, man, because it's like, man,
Yeah, I know. Like it's just it's certain things that people say, and you hear people say, you're like, oh my god, where
yeah.
did y'all get this? Where did y'all get this bad doctrine from?
It came from they heard it, it sounded good to them, they memorized it, and they just regurgitating it because they have no wisdom, no knowledge, no understanding, no study. No study of the word, man, so that they have it internalized for themselves, so that it makes sense in a realistic way. I mean, where you can actually take the Bible, open up a passage, and then know that it's speaking for itself, but it has a whole bunch of supporting witnesses all the way around it. There's a whole bunch of supporting witnesses. So when you start talking and you say, you start talking about trust, you start talking about faith, you start talking about circumcision, you start talking about covenant, bro. It's there is supporting witnesses. There's
Yes, yes,
supporting scriptures that actually support it, and not just support your point of view.
yes, yes,
You
yes,
know. Because there are some that they just want to make a point. They got their point of view, and they want to make the scriptures say what it needs to say to support their point of view, but it's false doctrine.
yes, yes, yes. They want a gotcha moment.
Yeah,
They want a gotcha. So it's like, bro, that don't even make that. That's not what that said. Like that is not what that said. So
yeah. But the people that don't know, man, for people that don't know, who don't study, and this is another thing I want to bust wide open right now. When Jesus was crucified, it said the veil of the temple was rent from top to bottom. That meant that it is now open. You don't need to go through a priest or anybody to get to Christ, to get to God, to have that relationship. It takes it all the way back to Genesis, right? Where now you can have this direct relationship with God the way God originally intended for it to happen. You know, so I mean, so for anybody that think that you can't pray for yourself, you can't pick up God's word and read for yourself, and you can't, you have to go through another man in order to have a relationship with God. That's false doctrine. No, you don't.
I mean, you got to understand. Like, if I think here's another thing, people don't understand. Like when you say it takes you back to Genesis. One of the yes, man, we physically die, but it was two deaths. I believe it was a spiritual death and a physical death.
Mm-hmm.
The physical death came later, but the separation from God came then when he kicked them out, right? So when Jesus died and that veil was, I can walk it. Let's walk it back first, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, but then when we built the tabernacle and all of this, they put a veil up that only the high priest could go in there.
Yep.
He was the only one, could nobody else go in there.
Right.
The
Right.
high priest. So now, when we fast forward to what happened to Jesus, Jesus is on the cross with all the sin. So once again, we got the second Adam, and now what he did when he died, he made sure that we can get back into the presence. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The presence of God. So he took away that. When he talks about this thing of death, he like, we're gonna physically die, yes, but once you're saved, you don't have to worry about the spiritual death anymore. Now we're back in the presence because he brings us back to the presence.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I don't think people get that. So now when it's rent, you're in the presence because he made sure I'm your mediator. Once you're back in the presence. You're in the courtroom now. You see what I'm saying? You're back there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's amazing when you, like you said, when you read it and study it and you see what was I was looking at that the other day. So when you look at the face to face, when Moses, when it talks about Moses being face to face in I think it's Exodus 34, I think 34, 35.
Mm-hmm.
When God, when the smoke would come down, and it said Moses talked to God like it was face to face, and it's talking about like they're friends, right?
Yeah.
So when you look at that word face to face, and you look at the Hebrew word, which you probably know, it's the same word as being in the presence.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we know that no man has seen God face to face, but his presence, you know what I mean? You know his spirit. So that really, and I just saw that the other day. I was like, oh, okay. Here we go again. The more you study, the more you read, the more God shows you things, and you're like, oh, okay. So that's the same word for presence. Yeah. That face to face word is the same word for presence. So, you know, when you look at it like that. So yeah, man, when Jesus did what he did, he got us back into the presence.
He gave us that opportunity, man.
Yeah.
You know, to that's why he calls us kings and priests. You know?
Yeah.
That's why he calls us kings and priests. So that he's the high priest.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And even when you get into Revelation, bro, look, what time is it? Because but even when you get into Revelations, right, and you start looking at the churches, right, the rewards, there are rewards when he's talking to particular churches about being pillars in the house of God. Mm-hmm. That means you will forever be in the presence of God.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So
that's even, look, wait a minute, we gotta go. We can't do this. We can't.
I know, man. I know.
Even that, right? Even that, when you look at Revelations, like when it talks about the 7 candlesticks, the 7 that's even in, like when you look at the temple in the old tabernacle, the menorah has 7 candles. You see what I'm saying? It's the symbolism is crazy. Like you just have, like, it's crazy. So yeah. I like that. Yeah, the symbolism is so crazy that he has the candlestick with 7 wicks. Then you got the 7 churches. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I know, man. I know.
Look, next time we're gonna have to get the Bibles out, I guess.
Yeah. We definitely are. Hey, listen. We hate to cut this off. But y'all don't know how much we really hate to cut this off.
I need to go.
I know. You got to get up.
Look, because I'm looking. I'm trying to find it. So I believe, like, when writing the scrolls and church, the 7 churches, because he tells them, where is it at? I'm sorry.
I'm trying not to go there. Of the
7 stars you saw in the right hand 7 are the 7 gold lampstands. Is this the 7 stars are the messengers of the 7 churches, and the 7 lampstands are the 7 churches. So you know what I'm saying. And then when you look at how the tabernacle and the temple was set up, they had lampstands in
Yep.
style, So yeah, man, I think he was showing them a vision of what it looked like inside of the temple. That's just me though. We can get into it later.
Oh man, yeah. Let me close my Bible, man, because I just say something. I was like, I want to get into that. No, we ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for tuning in. I'm Lil Jr.
I'm Lil Rick.
We
Love y'all.
will we will pick this up sooner or later. Hopefully, more sooner than later. This is what we do. This is conversations between two cousins who love each other, who love the Lord, who love family, man, who really want people to understand God's word and not only understand His word, but actually have a deep, intimate, personal relationship with Him for yourself, so that you all can join in conversations and feel excited about just being in the presence of God and in His Word. Hey, listen, Rick. Final words.
Uh, God bless y'all. God bless you, cousin, man. And we pray that you guys have a wonderful night, or whenever you listen to this, a wonderful day at work, and be blessed and keep God first. And if you haven't found Him, keep searching for Him. Come to this channel, and we hope and pray that He comes into your heart.
What's the name of the church that you attend, and where's it at? And if people want to get connected in your area, where can they go?
I'm at Abundant Life Church. We're in Arlington, Texas. Address is 3806 Curry Road. And you can look us up at we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. So check us out. My pastor is Lafayette Kelly.
Okay. All right. Hey, listen, I'm Pastor Billy McClinton, Church, Sparkles of Hope Christian Ministries, 2908 Indiana in Kansas City, Missouri. SOHCM.org is our website. If you want to reach out to us there, you can reach out. And other than that, drop a comment, drop a message if y'all need anything, you want us to pray for, you got a comment, you want to have a conversation or whatever. But in the infamous words of Grandma Rose and my Aunt Hurley, night night.
Night, night.